Hello. I'm Christina. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here with you today to show you how to hold the viola bow in 3 simple steps. In this video, you're going to learn the bow parts, how to place your hand on the bow in a relaxed and flexible way, as well as some common mistakes I see people making when they first start learning how to hold the bow or while playing. Whether you're a total beginner or you have been playing the viola or violin for a while, this video is for you. Let's get started. First, we're going to start by naming the various parts of the bow. The main wood is called the stick, this wooden part. These are the bow hair. This is called the frog, this part here. This is the screw, which loosens or tightens the bow hair, like that. This part over here is the winding. This is a leather part which it actually protects the wood, the stick. This little circle is called the eye, and this opening here is called the throat. We will move on to the first step of holding the bow. The first step is going to be a little routine to prepare your hand for the bow hold. You're gonna need to stand up or sit comfortably on a chair but with a straight back, not like that. You're going to lift your arm until your forearm is parallel to the floor. Bend a little bit at the elbow so that you have a soft angle, and drop your wrist completely until all fingers are relaxed. Then you're going to lift your wrist until it forms a straight line with your forearm, and then turn your hand palm facing up. Now we're going to repeat the same step, but this time with a pencil. So get yourself a pencil, maybe a colored one with your favorite color. I have a black one here, and I will show you what to do. Repeat the same routine. Stand or sit straight. Lift your right arm. Bend the elbow for a soft angle. Drop the wrist and then lift it and turn your palm facing up. You're going to take the pencil and you place one end of the pencil on the middle joint of your index finger and the other end on top of your pinky. Let it rest there and try to be relaxed with a straight wrist and forearm and relaxed fingers. As you can see, the pencil will balance on top of your fingers without even having to hold it. And that's a principle that we need to maintain when holding the bow. The next exercise is going to bring our thumb across our middle finger, and we're going to gently tap on the pencil. So tap and then let go. Tap and let go. And then we're going to tap and leave the thumb there. This is where the magic happens. Simply turn your hand and guess what? That's the bow hold. Try taking the pencil away from your hand. It should go away easily. This is the basic shape of your hand when holding a bow. It is very important to keep your index finger at the middle joint here, your pinky on top of the pencil, and the thumb is across the middle finger, forming a circle. Your thumb is actually your balance point, like a seesaw, you see? And you just place the pinky, which is the counterweight, and you can hold the pencil, and then the index finger. So these 3 fingers are the most important in bow hold because they maintain the balance of the hand. Now I'm going to show you step 2 of the process of holding a bow. You're going to take the bow, and after you're familiarized yourself with the routine and the pencil hold, we're going to apply the same thing, this time holding the bow. The bow is much heavier. It's really heavy on the frog and lighter to the tip. Each bow has a different balance point. So mine, for example, is here. As you can see, if I hold it from here, it's balancing. Try that out with your bow and see where the balance point of your bow is. We're going to need this information on step 3. We're going to do the routine first. Stand or sit straight, lift arm, bend the elbow, forearm parallel to the floor, drop the wrist completely relaxed, and then lift it and turn it. You're going to place the winding part on the middle joint of your index finger, and you're going to place this part over here on top of your pinky. And that's how it will look like. Make sure you hold the bow with your left hand because it's heavy, you can't balance it, it will fall off. That's why we need a counterweight. Guess which finger is going to play that role? The thumb. When we're holding the bow upside down, the thumb holds the weight of the bow with the index finger. So I can actually hold the bow with just 2 fingers like that. Your middle finger goes somewhere around the throat, this opening, so to hide the thumb, and the ring finger goes on top of the eye. If you find that this is a little bit straining for your hand, maybe you just let those 2 fingers drop wherever they want to, because each hand has a different size, and that plays a huge role on how someone holds the bow. The 3 fingers that you should pay close attention is the index finger on the winding on the second joint, the pinky lightly touching this part of the bow, and the thumb acting as a counterweight here. And now that's where the magic happens. You simply turn your hand and there you go. You have a bow hold. You will probably realize that the pinky is straining because it needs to hold the bow weight. So if that's the case and that's a little bit uncomfortable for you, make sure you place the bow on top of your left hand like that, always parallel to the floor. It's the same as it was before with the pencil. Index finger on the winding on the second joint, middle finger near the opening, the throat, ring finger on top of the eye, and pinky on top of the stick. And that's basically how you hold a bow. Make sure that you have a straight wrist, otherwise if you do things like that, or that, or that, or I don't know, weird angles with your wrist, it's going to strain your wrist. The role of the wrist is not to lift weight. The role of the wrist is to maintain flexibility of the hand and do various motions. You should feel the weight of the bow on your forearm or maybe your arm, but definitely not on the wrist. If you feel it on the wrist and it's straining, it means that you have probably a weird angle here and you need to maybe lift your elbow a little bit, but keep things straight and as relaxed as possible. This is the last part of holding the bow. I'm going to show you an exercise to figure out where to place your thumb and how you should feel your thumb on the bow, because it's an essential part of holding the bow. We're going to do the same thing, but instead of holding the bow on the frog, we're going to hold it on the balance point of your bow. If you don't know what that is, watch step 2 where I explain. Place the index finger on the middle joint, the pinky on top, the thumb across your middle finger, and let your middle finger and ring finger simply hug the stick. I'm going to grab the bow stick with my left hand. Make sure you don't touch the bow hair while doing that. And I'm going to pull to the left. My fingers are relaxed so that they can actually slide on top of the stick, like that. Now, I'm going to pull until the thumb meets resistance here on this bump on the frog. Let's do it once more. And that's where your thumb should be. The thumb should be approximately at a 45-degree angle, and maybe think that your thumbnail is pointing, let's say, towards the bow hair. So not to the left and not completely down, but rather slightly turned, so that you meet the bump on the bow with this part, with the top right part of your thumb. After you're finished with this exercise, you can wipe the bow stick with a clean and dry cloth to remove any oils from your fingers or sweat or things like that that ruin the varnish and the wood. Now, a few things about the thumb. The thumb is a really important finger because it serves as a resistance point. So when you're bowing, your fingers should be able to move, and your resistance point in order to do that is the thumb, so that the thumb can move along with the movement of the bow on the string. Another important role of the thumb is that it acts as a pivot point, like a seesaw. There are techniques or bow strokes that we need to use this kind of motions, and that's where your thumb should be on the correct spot to act as a pivot point, like that or like that, like up and down or front and back. We use all these things while playing viola or violin to control dynamics, bow strokes, legato bow changes and stuff like that. So it's a really important finger. I want to mention a few common mistakes that I see my students making when they first start learning how to hold the bow, or maybe a few months in the process of playing. They form some habits which are actually bad for their hands and therefore for their playing. The first most common mistake I see is holding the bow with a straight pinky. This is every viola or violin player's nightmare, because this is a resistance on the bow which doesn't allow you to move your hand and your fingers freely. I can't have the flexibility I want when the pinky is straight like that. It should be curled and remained curled on top of the bow, so that it's able to do stuff like that. The straight pinky usually pairs with a straight thumb, which I call the banana thumb, because if you stretch it too much, it has the shape of a banana. So it usually looks like that, and it causes tension to this part of the hand, to this part of the hand, and doesn't allow finger flexibility. Make sure your thumb is always bent, your pinky is always curled on top, and that you feel the weight of the bow on your pinky, on this muscle over here. If you stretch the pinky, this feeling goes away, and now you're feeling like you're holding the bow, while you should feel that the bow is balancing between your fingers. The second most common mistake I see is the fingers being straight instead of being curled, and usually holding the bow up here or something like that, which requires you to hold, to grip the bow, which we don't want. We want you to balance the bow between your fingers. So make sure that your fingers hug the bow nicely and in a relaxed way. The third mistake that I often see is that the index finger starts sliding off a little bit further away from all the other fingers, and you see things like that. If you notice professional players playing the violin or the viola, you may see that happening, but it's probably because they know how to adjust their hand on the bow, and it's probably because they want to achieve something specific on a specific piece of music. So when you're first starting out and during your first 5 months, 1 year and 2 years of playing, make sure that your fingers act as a unit when you hold the bow and not like that. This is not a balanced bow hold. This is a balanced bow hold. So if at any time you want to remove the bow from your hand, you should be able to do it without feeling that you have to grab the bow. So remove the bow and relax your hand and notice that your fingers have a natural distance. Your hand, I hope, doesn't look like that when you're relaxed, but rather like that. And that's what you need to maintain when holding the bow, depending of course on your hand size, your finger size, and so on. Another thing that has to do with the index finger is that some people don't hold it on this second joint, and you find people holding it like that, which brings the hand more forward, or they hold the bow like that, which puts strain on the wrist and doesn't allow the wrist to be on top of the stick but rather below it, which is not helpful at all when you want to achieve certain bow strokes, especially legato movement. So make sure that the placement of your index finger is not way off and really far away from the other fingers, and that you stay approximately in this area of the middle joint of the index finger. I really hope that you found this video useful and helpful, and that you are one step closer to holding the viola or the violin bow with ease and in a relaxed and balanced way. Remember, the top priority when playing a musical instrument is to play in a pain-free way, without tension and without pain whatsoever. If you experience any pain, tension or strain while playing the violin or the viola and you don't know what to do about it, you can leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching this video. It was great to have you here. If you liked this video, take a moment from your time and hit the like button and the subscribe button in case you want to get informed about future videos. I wish you have a wonderful day and have fun practicing. Bye.